History doesn't stay buried, it seeps forward, decade by decade, like something radioactive you can't scrub off. In the chaos of China's Cultural Revolution, a brilliant young woman, Ye Wenjie, watches a crowd turn on truth with righteous certainty. She learns, in the most brutal way, that knowledge won't protect you if power decides it's dangerous. And in that courtyard, something in her quietly breaks, and keeps breaking long after the lights go out. Ye loses the people and the world that made science feel clean, mentors, safety, even the simple trust that reality is shared. The state doesn't only punish, it reassigns, turning the condemned into tools. So when Ye is offered a position inside a secret project, it isn't framed as mercy, but it lands like exile. She takes it anyway, because there's nowhere else to stand. The project is called Red Coast, a listening post built to hear the universe. Ye arrives expecting silence and discovers something worse, intention. The dish isn't just an ear, it's a promise that someone, someday, might answer back. And Ye realizes communication isn't romantic at all, it's exposure. In a world where humans already hunt each other, broadcasting your location feels less like hope and more like lighting a flare in the dark. Years pass. The world modernizes. The language of progress becomes sleek and confident, until, suddenly, it doesn't work. Physicists begin to crack under impossible failures, experiments collapse, results contradict themselves, and the firm floor of scientific law turns strangely soft. It's not just a professional crisis, it's a psychological one. When the rules of nature start to wobble, the mind wobbles with them. That's where Wang Miao comes in, a nanotech researcher pulled into a quiet investigation by a streetwise detective named Shi Chang, or the Shi. The case doesn't look like a crime at first, it looks like a contagious panic. But the Shi has a talent for spotting when fear has a source, and when that source isn't human. He tells Wang to keep his eyes open and his assumptions locked down. Then Wang sees it, a countdown hovering in his vision like a bruise on reality. It isn't on a screen. Nobody else reacts. It's just there, ticking toward a deadline he can't name. He tries to reason his way out of it, stress, exhaustion, hallucination, but the feeling doesn't loosen. Whether it's a warning or a threat, time has suddenly become something that can be aimed at him. The trail leads to a strange VR experience pass hand-to-hand like contraband, tree-body. When Wang puts on the headset, the world doesn't simply render, it confronts him. He's thrown into a place ruled by unstable suns and repeating extinction, where civilization rises, shatters, and rises again like a breath that keeps failing. The game doesn't reward winning, it rewards enduring long enough to understand. Inside the three-body world, empires cling to prediction like religion. Prophets promise stability. Kings demand answers. Scientists become heretics the moment the sky refuses to behave. The sun rises wrong, sets wrong, returns wrong, and each cycle wipes out what came before. Wang watches people burn their own histories just to survive one more season. And he begins to sense the game isn't entertainment, it's a lesson written in catastrophe. Little by little, Wang notices who the game attracts, not thrill seekers, but people carrying a quiet verdict about humanity. Outside VR, a real movement is taking shape, one that believes Earth has failed, and salvation can only arrive from elsewhere. They call themselves the Earth Trisolaris organization. And when Wang hears their tone, he understands this isn't a cult worshipping aliens, it's a courtroom where humans have already been found guilty. As Wang gets closer, the world around him starts to feel staged. Cameras appear where they shouldn't. Strangers speak in half-truths, as if following a script. Even the sky feels wrong, not poetically wrong, but mechanically wrong, like someone has access to the controls. The investigation stops being about a secret group and becomes about a presence pressing down on reality itself. And Wang realizes, someone isn't just watching him, they're adjusting the world around him. The Shi keeps him tethered. Paranoia is useful, he says, but only if it points somewhere. He introduces Wang to Ding Yi, a physicist with the calm, sharp manner of someone who's spent years arguing with impossible problems. Ding doesn't soothe Wang, he reframes him. If the data can't be trusted, then you don't chase results, you chase motives. And that shift, small as it sounds, changes the entire hunt. The trail swings back to a name from another era, Ye Wenjie, now older, composed, and unsettlingly certain. She speaks with the stillness of someone who has already walked through her worst day and kept walking. Her memories aren't nostalgia, they're evidence, pieces of a chain reaction that never stopped. Listening to her, Wang senses the shape of the truth before he can fully see it. The future, it seems, was nudged into place by a single moment of despair. In flashback, Yi is shown Red Coast's true purpose, not only to listen, but to send. The dish is a mouth as much as it is an ear. The stars look distant enough to be harmless, until you realize distance doesn't prevent consequences, it only delays them. A message fired into space is like a stone thrown into deep water, the splash happens now, but the ripples return later, and wider than you planned. Then the impossible happens, a reply arrives. Proof that humanity is not alone. But the voice from the darkness doesn't sound friendly or curious, it sounds careful. It warns Yi not to answer, not to reveal Earth's location, not to invite attention. The universe, it implies, is dangerous precisely because it's rational. And the warning carries an eerie kindness, the kind that feels like someone trying to save you from a rule you don't yet understand. Yi answers anyway. Not out of wonder, but out of judgment. She has watched people destroy each other with certainty and zeal, and she has grown tired of believing humans will ever stop. In that lonely room, with the transmitter humming and the night pressing against the windows, she makes a decision that is both intimate and cosmic. She invites the universe in. And once their invitation is sent, she can never pull it back. In the present, Wang sees what Ye's choice has grown into. The ATO is divided, some members want the aliens as rulers, others want them as executioners, but both sides agree on the same premise: humanity is unfit to run its own story. They don't speak of invasion like a tragedy, they speak of it like a correction. Listening to them, one understands the most frightening thing isn't their secrecy, it's their certainty. The name behind the game's nightmare emerges: Trisolaris, a civilization born under 3 suns, surviving through brutal adaptation. Their physics is advanced, their patience longer than empires, and their moral framework shaped by a world that doesn't allow softness. To them, Earth isn't sacred, it's strategic, a stable home in a universe that has given them none. And the scariest part is how coldly practical that desire feels. Then comes the twist that lands like a fist: the Trisolarans can't arrive quickly, but they can act now. Tiny engineered probes, softens, have reached Earth and wrapped themselves around human progress like invisible wire. They can distort experiments, sabotage certainty, and make science stall at the exact moment it needs to surge. It isn't an invasion of land yet. It's an invasion of knowledge, a chokehold on the method humans use to understand reality. Humanity's response fractures immediately, governments hide, scientists panic, and ordinary life keeps moving under a sky that may already be compromised. The Shi, blunt as ever, points out a human truth: people can endure almost anything if they believe it's survivable. That's why despair is the enemy's first victory. And that's why, suddenly, hope isn't just an emotion, it's a form of resistance. One learns how deep the collaboration goes through the ATO's leader, Mike Evans: wealth, logistics, secrecy, and a moral logic that treats betrayal as righteousness. Evans speaks as if humanity is a failed experiment and the aliens are the clean solution. The ocean around him becomes the perfect symbol, vast, silent, concealing. When you can't see the bottom, it's easy to pretend you're not responsible for what you throw in. The crackdown begins. Ideology turns physical, raids, standoffs, doors kick open in the wrong hour of night. One is no longer a scientist observing danger from a safe distance. He's inside it, moving through corridors where the air feels too thin. The world still looks normal, streets, lights, daily routines, but now it carries the tension of a trap that could snap at any moment. Yet even with arrests and raids, the deepest dread remains: the Trisolarans are coming, and they know we know. The countdown wasn't only fear, it was conditioning, a way to make humans doubt their own senses. If you can't trust your eyes, you can't organize. If you can't organize, you can't resist. Confusion, Wang realizes, is the cheapest weapon in the universe, and it's already been deployed. By the time the investigation feels solved, Wang understands it has only widened. Ye Wenjie's act can't be undone, it can only be answered. Humanity is facing a new kind of war, centuries-long, psychological, fought in laboratories and in belief. The enemy isn't just coming for territory, they're coming for the future's shape. And suddenly the future doesn't feel distant, it feels scheduled. And that's the chill the story leaves you with. Contact isn't a single moment, it's a condition. From now on, every breakthrough might be watched, nudged, or quietly blocked before it can bloom. The universe has finally noticed us, and the attention doesn't feel like wonder, it feels like pressure. Because once you know you're being observed, you start changing, and you can't always tell whether the change is yours. If you learned something from this video, let us know in the comments which books you would like summarized next. Happy learning, we will catch you in the next video.